Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Bricks. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my build of what is known as the Witch House of Salem, Massachusetts. And although it's known as the Witch House, it wasn't home to any accused witches. It was actually the home of Jonathan Corwin, who was one of the judges of the Salem witch trials. And it's historically significant because it's actually the last standing building in Salem that has direct ties back to the witch trials. And of course, it's just a really cool, spooky looking house, which is, of course, the most important thing. So I went to Salem this past October for the Halloween season, which gets pretty crazy, but I actually packed up and brought this build with me and got some cool shots in front of the real building. But we had to go pretty early in the morning to get these pictures because otherwise it just gets too crazy in this part of town and there would have been way too many people around the house. And there's me. So, like the Ropes Mansion, the base is mostly made up of dark tan plates with some angled and curved pieces along the edge to give it a nice organic look that also complements the shape of the house. Then I added the touches of olive green to create the look of the grass. I'm not a big fan of using basic Lego green for grass, it just looks a bit too bright and cartoony for what I want. After I completed the basic structure for the base, I flipped the whole thing over and added a bunch of the 2x2 plates with the rounded bottoms. And doing this served two purposes. For one, it helps to reinforce the connections of all the bottom layer of plates, and two, it reduces friction on the base so I can move and slide the whole build around much easier. The leaves on the ground are mostly made with orange and dark orange, and I used all kinds of different pieces to represent the leaves, from the basic 3-leaved pieces, flower pieces, star pieces, cheese wedges, quarter-rounded tiles, to just basic 1x plates. And these all work to give it a nice texture that doesn't come off as too repetitive. I chose orange for the leaves because paired with the black of the house, it gives it a really great Halloween aesthetic. So this build also includes a tree. The trunk of the tree is made up of Technic connectors with various bars, horns, antenna, and even some minifigure hands to represent these smaller branches. I also wrapped some string around the trunk to help give it a knotted organic kind of look. I put a few leaves here and there on the tree, but I wanted most of the leaves to have already fallen on the ground, so I put larger orange plates underneath the tree to make that area look more like it's densely covered in leaves. Now, usually trees in Lego are done in shades of brown for obvious reasons, but I went with more shades of gray because I feel like a lot of tree bark reads more gray than brown. Also, it gives a tree more of like a creepy, dead sort of vibe. The house itself, of course, is mostly made of black, and like the Ropes Mansion, I used a whole bunch of ingot pieces and plate pieces to imply the siding texture. But while the Ropes Mansion used a very specific pattern of alternating plates and ingots, here I added the ingots in much more of a random, non-uniform way. And this gives it more of a rustic sort of ramshackle look, which I think fits the look of this house more than it would have on the Ropes Mansion. But like the Ropes Mansion, I definitely underestimated the amount of pieces I would need and found myself very quickly running out of black ingots and plates and having to put in more orders. I used mostly black ingots, but added some accent colors of the ingots in pearl dark gray color as well. The windows on the witch house had this sort of diamond lattice shape on the window panes. So to get that look, I used a bunch of fence pieces on their sides. And I put some transparent plates on the back of the fence pieces to act as the glass. I used different colors for those pieces to try to mimic the look of older handmade glass that probably would have had some non-uniform color variations. But it probably reads more like stained glass, but that works too. Then I used a combination of 2x tiles, plates with door rails, and plates with bar rails to get that window framing. Again, I love adding any kind of texture wherever I can. The windows in the back of the witch house are a little more simple, so for those I just use the basic 1x2x2 window pieces. Then I use jumper plates underneath the windows to get them to stick out a little bit, just like on the real house. The real building has these little architectural details underneath the second floor overhang, so I recreated those by putting a Technic pin with a ball into the bottom of a 1x1 brick. The roof was a bit tricky because of all the different angles coming together, and it took a whole lot of trial and error to get all the roof sections to fit together with as few gaps as possible. Then I added some rounded tiles here and there for some shingle texturing. The chimney is mostly made of dark red masonry bricks with some accents of reddish brown and dark orange plates. And then inside the chimney I put a 2x2 jumper plate so I could do this. So I made a little side build of someone being arrested for witchcraft. And I think the scene works nice as a little companion piece for the house. And then for that extra spooky touch, I added some lights. You can go check out my Ropes Mansion video for more information on the lights I used. And so that's about it for this build. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check back for more spooky builds.
Ho, 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 ho.